I have actually changed, well, I wouldn't say changed it, but I have upgraded the program. And so it is actually known now as 3 Keys HypnoFertility. I have written 3 books on fertility hypnosis, including It's Conceivable, Hypnosis for Fertility, The 3 Keys to Conception, Pregnancy Against All Odds, and the latest one is Waiting in the Wings, Introducing the Pink Starlights. So the 3 keys to fertility, 3 keys to becoming pregnant. And that's kind of what we base the 3 Keys HypnoFertility from. Now, tonight, I have a special guest with me. What I've begun doing is training professionals to work in this hypnosis that I do, this specialized hypnofertility, 3 Keys HypnoFertility. And this way, because this is global, I have a global practice, plus I have been teaching this worldwide for, close to 20 years. I have begun training some really creme de la creme, top of the line professional hypnotherapists known as certified 3 Keys hypnofertilitists to be able to work with people in person, to be able to work with people by distance, to be able to work with people in different languages as well. So tonight I have with me my guest, Lewina Giles, and she is a certified 3 Keys hypnofertilitist, and she is located in Montreal, Canada. So welcome, Lewina. How are you doing tonight?
Hi, I'm doing really good. Thanks, Lindsay. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yes, good. I love your background there. It looks very peaceful.
Thank you. Some color.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I've got my babies in the background. That's kind of my signature these days. I've helped bring a lot of babies into this world, and I just absolutely am so blessed to be able to do this, and I just love it. So I'm really excited to talk with you about it tonight, because what better subject to talk about, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about, so you work with fertility hypnosis, birthing, and tell me a little bit more.
Yeah, so focus mainly, yes. So the hypnofertility, so the 3 Keys hypnofertility protocol, hypnobirth, also the 3 keys, and sexuality, so sexual freedom hypnosis, working mostly with women and couples.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. And you actually work with folks in English and in French. Is that right?
Correct. I'm fluent in both French and English.
That's just wonderful. That is just such a gift to have that available so that people can, work with this in English, but also in various other languages, because that can really make a difference for people. And there's not a lot of availability of some of these types of methods in anything above and beyond English. So that's really exciting.
Yep, that's very true. Yeah, particularly like looking at trainings, a lot of it's in English. So getting it out there in different languages is really going to get some reach, and it's important. So
yeah, it helps so many people. Infertility has become an epidemic. I mean, it is just, oh my gosh, the numbers are just crazy. So, well, tell me a little bit about, how you got into this and well, a little bit about that.
okay, so I mean, it's been kind of a long journey, a windy journey, not a straight down the road journey. Probably goes back. I was a practicing doula many years ago, back in 2010 to 2013. I worked with just over 100 families back at the time. Work that I absolutely loved, supporting families through their birth journeys. It kind of became incompatible with my personal life for a while. It's very demanding being on call, being away from home for long periods of time. Kind of knowing though that I wanted to find my way back to some kind of work to do with pregnancy, helping families again. And I found my way back to hypnosis, knowing that hypnosis can be, applied to pregnancy, birth through the hypnobirthing programs. And as I was doing my hypnotherapy training, also came to realize there was so many applications for hypnosis that tied in with birth, pregnancy really well that I could look into. So I came across the HypnoFertility and your 3 keys HypnoFertility protocol, and the sexuality piece too, because this all kind of, a lot of it's related. There can be, sexual dysfunction arising either from fertility problems or sometimes even causing fertility problems, sexuality tied into birth. So focusing on those 3 areas that for me just made sense, that really help support, empower women, couples, families throughout those birth and fertility journeys.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, all of those are connected, and the sexuality aspect, because that can, cause issues sometimes with fertility, but also be caused by fertility issues.
Yeah.
So yeah, tell me a little bit about that. It's Kaz Riley's sexual empowerment, is it?
Sexual freedom hypnosis program. Yeah, that was an amazing program. I don't know when her next one is. Anyway, if anyone who's interested, I know she does it on a regular basis. So yeah, really getting to encouraging people to really have confident, fulfilling sex lives, getting rid of a lot of the guilt and shame surrounding sexuality. A lot of the myths and misconceptions we have about sexuality, even from younger generations now, with, the kind of where they're getting their information from. So a lot of educating people too on, how to have happy, fulfilling, competent sex lives.
Yeah, yeah, that's just a really valuable part of all of this. And then birthing, I know as a doula, I mean, you're just on, on call 24/7 pretty much, and you can be there for, what, a day, 2 days, even at a birth.
Exactly. Yes. It's very fulfilling, but very demanding, but extremely gratifying. Yeah. So.
Yeah, that's fantastic. The great thing with the hypnosis is we can work with, the couple, the mom, whoever, is mom and baby connection, and help them to have an amazing birth experience, and totally empowered to do that with, on their own, with their partner, with a doula, with their midwife or doctor. It is really applying hypnosis to birthing is just really something, isn't it?
Yes, and the thing that really stood out, so doing the program with Haley and yourself too, is the hypnobirthing, that really the way you apply it to all types of birth outcomes. The birth journey can be so unexpected. We can have these hopes, these plans, these dreams. Um, Things can go very differently than we plan. So having that hypnobirthing protocol that's really adaptable to any birth situation, C-section, home birth, hospital birth, medicated, unmedicated. That was really a key component of the training, and the application to the postpartum period too, which often gets overlooked in hypnobirthing. I also love the fact too that it's very complementary to birth education classes. So we've kind of taken the birth education component out of it. There's a brief overview, but really focusing on the hypnosis and making it an absolute complement to that rather than taking over that aspect.
Yeah, and that's really huge, hypnosis, and that, really good quality hypnosis, not sort of because there's a lot of diluted applications and aspects of hypnosis, and some of these things like just guided imagery or creative visualization, that they would fall under the hypnosis umbrella, but they're not fully, completely hypnosis. And so what I've found over the years is that emphasis on hypnosis and on the power of hypnosis, because it just has so much positive effect on creating what we desire and that kind of fulfillment. And with fertility, this is something that I discovered long ago, was there's a lot of medical involvement and influence, and yet there's also people that are conceiving naturally, but there can be so much more that's involved. And oftentimes, medically assisted fertility is going to result in medically assisted birth. And so the hypnosis works with and prepares all the way across the board, would you say?
Precisely. It's such a full spectrum covering. Yep. So to be able to integrate everything is just between the two protocols is just, it just ties in so perfectly. Yep.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, well, how did you get started with this? You were working in the birthing doula world and you found hypnosis.
Yes. So, well, the hypnosis, I mean, I guess, a lot changed like with COVID coming in. That was, I think, kind of a lot of eye-opening stuff then about what I really wanted to get back into and what I was passionate about. Um, I think more free time too, all of a sudden to actually get back into studying something and trying a different path. And yes, I think that was a big eye opener. And really knowing, like, ever since I stopped the doula work, that at some point I really wanted to get back into that. It was just not knowing yet how,
Yeah.
exactly when, and the right time, the right place came along. And yeah,
Yeah, no, that's something I talk about a lot, right time and right
right time,
way.
right place. Yeah.
Right. And the three keys to conception, basically are the three keys to life. Meditate, listen, and trust. Those are the three keys to conception. A little bit broader than that in terms of meditate, encompassing, hypnosis, of course, and quiet time and mindfulness. And then that listening, taking that time for some quiet and tuning in and listening, and then being able to trust that. So that really does really does apply, and it's really effective, isn't it, in terms of being able to address things maybe more broadly than before?
Yes, and that's, in every spectrum of life. So having taken that from the hypnofertility and again in the hypnobirth and even taking that into just life in general, and meditation, not necessarily sitting and meditating per se, but just having that quiet time, that introspection, just being able to look inside to take that time to listen, because we'll often take that time, that quiet time, but listening to the actual messages that come. And then, yeah, really trusting yourself, which is, again, is kind of what I'd like to do through the hypnosis, is really that empowerment. So if you can come from that place of calm, that meditate, that trust, that listen, and then totally trust yourself and feel empowered, and anything is possible from there. So
Oh my gosh, yeah. And from the practitioner standpoint, we should be keeping ourselves in balance. I mean, any practitioner, and especially working in the fertility world, because that can be really, difficult. It's really hard on our clients, and, emotional and frustrating and difficult in so many ways. So we want to be able to hold that space, which, that's what I do, that's what you do, and then help clients, help folks that are struggling with whatever the issue might be, to integrate, that meditate, listen, trust, which creates that balance, and then that everything is as it needs to be, right?
exactly. So the breath work too, which again is integrated into I do a lot of my self-care through breath work. That's kind of
Mhm.
my main focus. That's my meditation part, is more the breath work, which gives me that time and that introspection. So it's important for everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like you're really, really passionate about this, about all of this, of what you're doing.
It's seeing how much, I mean, going back, if I go back to the birth tool at times, we can apply to the fertility too. There's so much going on in that period. There's the misinformation, getting so much advice from so many different people, a lot of it unsolicited too.
Mhm.
So really being able to shield that out, and then losing trust of your own intuition and all of that. It's very easy. Um, Being able to make informed decisions too, coming from this place. So I think with the fertility piece, having that meditate, listen, trust, being able to take yourself out of that, it's kind of like a storm with everything that's going on. There's interventions, there's information, and all that negative messaging that's going in the entire time, feeling overwhelmed around people of authority. Um, so this is where the hypnofertility becomes really important, to really step out of that storm,
Mhm.
find that place of calm, sorry, and really gain that sense of empowerment in the process. And while still focusing on your desired outcome, but being a little more in the present moment as you make that journey.
Right. And that's actually a good point that you bring up, because to the subconscious mind, there's no past, there's no future. Everything is happening present tense. So if we say, in your subconscious mind, be at or imagine yourself at your fourth birthday party, and you might look back and remember and say, oh, I had my 4th birthday party at grandma's house, we did chocolate cake and the dog ate the cake, or, and we talk in the past tense, that's a memory. But in the subconscious, that's always happening now. In the subconscious mind, we're actually at the party and the dog is eating the cake. And that, has so much influence on fertility, on pregnancy, on life, because, we're wanting to get pregnant. It's very future, and we're wanting to, have this baby and wanting to maybe have a particular birth. And in the subconscious mind, all of this is happening, right? And so with the hypnosis, we can help. It's interesting because it's almost like, well, we think in terms of linear, right? It's measurable.
Yeah.
Yesterday, today, tomorrow, the 4th, the 8th will be there next Monday. We think in terms of that, but the subconscious doesn't. And so, you really do bring up a good point when you said that, because to the subconscious mind, when we go through this, we've had the baby, we've had the successful transfer, we've had the successful retrieval, we've had the successful natural conception, all of those things. And then moving forward, through the birth, through the postpartum, through all of that, we're looking back to the subconscious. It's a foregone conclusion that we got pregnant because all of these other things have unfolded. Yeah, so that's kind of, to me, that's one of the greatest things with working with hypnosis, is being able to release, old thought patterns and be able to do so, rapidly and quite effectively, and then be able to tap into that ability to create, and creating what we desire, right? Need a baby. And
Yes, I think that point too that you bring up about just how quickly hypnosis works too. It's not a question of spending years on a
Right.
therapist's couch to get to the, but it works so efficiently, so quickly, so deeply. It's an amazing tool just in that sense. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. It's considered rapid change. It doesn't necessarily mean instantaneous, but when you think about going to, traditional therapist for, once a week for years, or that kind of thing, or even other modalities like acupuncture, people often go weekly for, months or even years. And with hypnosis, it's not that you couldn't, it's just that it is so rapid, the way that the adjustments are able to happen. So, with the 3 keys, as we do 12-session program, and that gives us a chance to work with what people are coming in with, because, when you're struggling with infertility, as it's not simple. I mean, there's just so many things. And I love that the hypnosis helps with the subconscious blocks, because, we may have them and not know it. We may suspect that we have them, but the hypnosis is going to help take care of that one way or another. So I find that even, those who are doulas and midwives, that the hypnosis even comes in handy for them as they're working, with their clients, for the reproductive endocrinologists, to just have that awareness of it even helps to, boost success rates across the board.
Yeah, I agree on that point. That's something too. We don't consider this the women and the couples working, but even everyone working around them. This would be of great benefit even to extend it out to those supporting them also. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it just makes such a big difference to be able to incorporate that. That's why I do love so much what I do, what we do. And yeah, I mean, yeah, I quit smoking with a hypnosis actually many, many years ago. And it was really funny because I just didn't smoke anymore. And I literally smoked 5 cigarettes on my way to my appointment. And then and then it was just done. And then I was at work or out with people, and people would say, "You don't smoke." And I'd say, "Yeah, I know." "No, you don't know. You just don't smoke." "Yeah, I know. I don't smoke." "No, you don't know. You don't understand. Like, you just don't smoke." And people would, because when people stop smoking, they're jonesing, they're, biting their nails, they're, eating all sorts of things, they're stressing out. And I could still stand with people as they had cigarettes, or sit with them, and it didn't bother me at all. And, just the power of hypnosis, just in that one, for that one issue for smoking. And there's just so much more that hypnosis can apply to.
Well, yeah, I have a similar story too. Like, well, I used hypnosis on myself also while I was going through my hypnotherapy training. Mostly to overcome, I had a huge fear of not having the ability to express myself, mostly in writing. I get agonized for hours over an email. Just a simple email could take me hours to write, rewrite, wondering what the person on the other end was going to think. I worked on that in hypnosis. And it's kind of like you said, I didn't have the realization that I'd made that change until one day I was just sitting there typing an email. And I'm like, oh, like that was just easy. And it just kind of happened because it happened on such a deep subconscious level that something just clicked and it was suddenly just easy. Yeah.
Yeah. And, with the fertility clients, people struggling with, we don't like to say infertility because that's really anti-hypnotic. I mean, I know people call it that, but, struggling with, let's call it just struggling with fertility to get pregnant, wanting to get pregnant, but are often type A personalities. So perfectionist, that's going to be perfectionism that is contributing to you trying to write an email, right, for hours and hours. And I found over the years, my clients are just, self-professed type A. They'll say I'm a control freak, or I'm a perfectionist, I'm an achiever, I'm an overachiever, I'm a type A. And, that really it can really cause so much energy to be drained from just kind of living life and not even realizing it, because your energy is just being sapped from all of this focus and all of this control. And you can't control getting pregnant. Like I always say, you can't left brain a baby, right? You cannot think a baby into being. You can think about having a baby and what you want to do, and whatever process, whatever's going on, and make some choices. And then at the same time, that baby is created. And so the harder we try to force something like that, it just, compounds, and it just becomes, just so much more difficult. So it's the same with when you say, like, hey, I need to be quiet and just write my email, but then there's that much more focus. And it's like with smoking, people say, oh, I'm not going to smoke. And then all they think about is smoking.
Smoking.
Yeah. So which I love with the hypnosis, we can just bypass that and then also utilize things subconsciously, such as, seeing a pregnant woman, seeing a baby, getting invited to yet another baby shower. And instead of having that be upsetting, have that actually work in your favor. That I think is just invaluable. And another thing that is really, pretty rapid in creating that shift, which then frees up that much more energy and that much more balance, helps to create that much more balance and helps to bring those babies in.
It does. It does. It's wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it is really amazing. So how do people contact you, Lewina? Do you have a website?
I do. I have a website up and running. So that's lewinakhypnosis.com. You can find me on Instagram and Facebook. I tend to be a little more on Instagram, so my handle there is Lewina K Hypnosis. I always offer free consultations on either of those platforms for anyone who just wants to get to know a little bit more about what I do, more about hypnosis and how hypnosis can help them specifically. So.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I've seen you've got some really neat stuff on Instagram. Very creative.
Thank you. That's all very new to me, the social media thing. But yeah, when you haven't been in that environment. But no, it's been lots of fun actually getting on there and getting out there. So.
Yeah, it is pretty neat because I've never done that really either. I'm at this point of, doing more with it just because, well, it is kind of fun and interesting, right? And there's just so much more, that's just out there at this point in time. And people are, looking for that. So we're here on Facebook Live right now, chatting with each other.
We are.
Wonderful, wonderful. Is there anything that you maybe would like to say to folks? Is there maybe a little nugget of wisdom or something you wanted to share that you were thinking about?
I didn't know. I don't know. I guess just give hypnosis a try, discover the power of, your own mind, change your mind, change your life. Give it a
Beautiful.
try.
Beautiful. Change your mind, change your life. Yes, that's like, I've used that actually to describe hypnosis for many, many years. And, we can try really hard to change our minds, and we can read every self-help book under the sun, which I'm pretty sure I have. And, every psychology book, and we know things, and we listen to, folks on YouTube, but to just create like an instantaneous change is difficult with hypnosis, because we're able to shift the neurons, right? To shift neural pathways, to eliminate unhelpful ones, and then create the ones that help us to achieve what it is that we are desiring. But to do that without, really forcing, white knuckling it, as they say, with somebody who's trying to maybe not eat chocolate cake, or stop smoking, or stop obsessing over something, right? So
And hypnosis is really relaxing. I think that's the best part about it. So not only are you doing this incredible work, it's so relaxing and enjoyable. So yeah.
it is, yeah. And you don't have to do anything, right? Which is what I love most about it, because I know a lot of times people will get frustrated, especially trying to get pregnant and trying to do everything right, and trying to eat right, and try all of those things. And that can get really frustrating. And then also the idea of relaxing. I mean, I know how many people have told you just relax? Yes, all you need to do is relax. Why didn't I think of that? I should have just relaxed, and then I would be pregnant right now, and I would not be, yeah. Tell an insomniac to just go to sleep. See how well that works, right? And so, yeah, the hypnosis, people will tell you to meditate, and, just doing some form of seated meditation, and your mind is, blipping everywhere. That's just very frustrating. So that's
Yep.
what I like, because I am definitely, a type A, and, overachiever type, right? And much more imbalanced thanks to hypnosis. That just, you don't have to clear your mind. Your mind can chatter. So when you're doing the hypnosis, and people will say, well, I can't relax because it's so stressful to be constantly told to relax. The hypnosis helps, to bypass that. Your mind can chatter, you can think about, dinner, or where you're going next week, or, you can wonder, you can fade in, fade out, not listen, it doesn't matter. And I often will say to people, you can sit there and ask, oh, I wonder if I'm hypnotized. I wonder if this is working. And they'll say, yes, that's what I would do. Yeah,
Exactly. Exactly.
me too. So, but it doesn't matter. You can totally do that, because the hypnosis is designed to work with the subconscious mind. And if we could make all these changes consciously, we would, right?
Yep.
We would just do that. So yeah, I think, oh my gosh, I could talk with you all night, all week about hypnosis and its wonders, about how effective it is for fertility. It's really amazing. So I want to thank you so much for taking the time to hang out with me tonight.
It was my pleasure. And, thank you for creating, such a wonderful protocol. I mean, your training was such a pleasure to take. The protocol is just amazing, and the hypnobirth protocol. So thank you.
Well, I'm really thrilled to have you here with us in our directory, and of, 3 Keys professionals, creme de la creme, as I like to say. And I guess that's a little bit more, applicable for you, being as you are French, speaking French, I should say, speaking French there in Montreal. And that's fantastic. So Lewina is available to work with you in French. All right. So you can reach Lewina at website.
LewinaKHypnosis.com.
Or on Instagram or Facebook.
Exactly. Lewina K Hypnosis.
Perfect. That's awesome. So thanks so much for being here, everyone. Thank you, Lewina. And we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.